guys, just want to say thank you so much for supporting Found Us Nation Fridays and Sauce Saturdays. You guys love them and love the series. And thank you to the person who suggested Wrong Turn Wednesdays. I will be doing that once the other series is over, because I don't want to just review those 3 films, and I feel like 3 videos a week is what I can do. But it was a genius idea, so can't wait. If you know any other horror movie alliterations that have a lot of movies within the series, please let me know. So today we're going to be talking about a movie called Below that came out in 2002, and I honestly had never heard of this film, and I found it by just googling top ghost films. That's literally how I found it. It was on a list, and I looked at it, looked pretty cool, sounded pretty cool, because I was just really in the mood for a good ghost movie, and it's been a while since I've seen a really good one that really bothered me. This wasn't that. It wasn't what I was looking for, but it ended up being an amazing film. It is a horror mystery thriller, so the horror aspect isn't too strong. I think it's one of those films that makes a great introductory horror film to really start with, because it's not very scary. There are some horrifying parts, but you gotta get your feet wet sometime, you know, you gotta work your way into it. So the director of this is David Twohy, but he wrote the stories for the Riddick series, the Chronicles of Riddick and everything like that, so he is kind of famous for that. But he also directed this film, and this movie had a really good cast. I looked up some of the actors, and some of them were in Aliens 3. I'm just gonna say that it was extremely well acted. It was amazing actors, and it totally exceeded my expectations of what I thought this movie was going to be. My boyfriend and I like to go in blind to movies without watching the trailer, especially movies like this that we've never heard of. We just kind of want to dive into it. We knew what it was about regarding the World War II submarine, which is where the entire movie takes place. So the main plot synopsis is that there's a World War II submarine, and there are some Navy people on there, and they, in the beginning, are talking about how they blew up this German ship, and then they get an order to go save these 3 people that are still alive on this British ship. One of them is a woman, and they freak out about that. They haven't seen anyone besides each other in 7 weeks, so it's been a while. One thing I love though is they didn't highlight any romance or anything like that. So they soon discover that one of the people that she had brought on with her, and one of the people that they rescued, was actually a German soldier, and she's a nurse, and the ship that had been blown up was a hospital ship, so she had a bunch of patients, over 300 people that she and other people were tending to. One of them was a German soldier, and they kill him. Then things start to get a little weird. It starts to turn into a haunting movie, a ghost, it's a ghost ship and things like that. One thing my boyfriend pointed out that I really agree with is what he wanted The Woman in Black 2 to be, is what this one did correctly. It was a balance between highlights of the wartime and the scares. We felt that Woman in Black 2 kind of focused more on the scariness and less on the war, but this one did really well at highlighting things about the war and certain technologies, and they all knew Morse code and things like that that are kind of subtle, but it feels more realistic, because even though the ship seems to be haunted, there's still a war going on, and they're still fighting things. So I honestly think that this movie did a really good job making certain parts funny. They were genuinely funny. The way this was filmed just was weird. It didn't try too hard to be funny, and when it was only a few times, and it was actually really successful at it. So I'm going to talk a little bit. This isn't really going to be spoilers, but it is a spoiler if you... Well, yeah, I'm going to talk about the end, so if you don't want to know spoilers, or you want to watch it first and then come back, pause it and then come back, because I want to talk about it. So as the movie progresses, the hydrogen levels in the air start to rise, and thus they are struggling a little bit more and more to breathe throughout. What I really liked about this is they had this little dialogue that happened in this little room between a bunch of the guys, and they were all saying what if we actually died already? Because earlier on there were these bombs dropped on them from a German ship, and they said, what if we died when that happened? This movie was very self-aware, and I thought that was really clever, because literally whatever they said was what the viewer would be thinking. It's just the oxygen, and they're seeing things, what if they're dead? And then also there was a scene where the German guy who had died earlier in the film had spoken to one of the guys who was like tying him up and like, you know, cleaning him up because they played a prank on the girl earlier on. And he heard the voice and the guy was like, well, did it speak to you in German or English? And he says, well, like, I guess it was English. So it points out its flaws, I guess you will, and like, you know, what the viewer is thinking, like, well, why did it talk to you in English? It's a German soldier. So things that don't make sense, it points out on its own, and it's just really entertaining. Now, unfortunately, it didn't end up being anything cool or clever or something where they were like in a middle world or anything like that until the very end. There is a line that, because they do get rescued, there's a few survivors and they are rescued. And there's a scene at the very, very end where the captain of this British ship that they were rescued by says, dead, not buried, in regards to the vessel. But it also could be a little implication of them as soldiers, and that maybe they did die, but they are in this middle ground. So they're dead, but not buried. So yeah, I just thought that was really cool. You can interpret it however you want to interpret it. Let me know if you think it's like a weird symbolism thing, or if you think they just actually survived and he was just talking about the ship. If you like World War II movies and ghost movies, this is definitely one for you. And it's on Netflix. It's definitely going to be in my top Netflix gems part 2, which I am working on right now, but I just had to review it as a whole instead of saving it for that list because I really want to tell you guys about it. It was definitely a really well done film. I'd never heard of it. So definitely check it out if you haven't seen it and you like those kind of films. Just know that it's not going to be super, super scary. It's more of what's going to happen. How are they going to figure out if it's a ghost or not? Like, it's cool. Make sure to leave some more movie requests down below. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.